Pickup Lines is presented by Gamez Law Firm. Personal injury guidance for more than 50 years. Gamez Law fights. By Integrity Roofing and Siding. Family owned and operated for more than 40 years, serving the San Antonio area for roofing, siding, and renovation needs. And by the Sabinal Group. For nearly 20 years, serving the San Antonio region through professional minority general contracting services. Pickup Lines is broadcast from inside the all-electric Lexus RZ450E, courtesy of North Park Lexus at Dominion and North Park Lexus of San Antonio.
You just never know, do you? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pickup Lines, the talk show in a Lexus. And today, do not adjust your devices because this is not the Lexus RZ450E as I'm accustomed to doing. And we're not broadcasting in a cave.
No, we're not.
But this is Cassandra Lazenby, dear friend, former TV colleague. But let's set the scene here because you might see some things today that you just haven't seen before. It is slightly darker because, again, we're in this fabulous...
Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding.
I know you're having... The car's already talking to me. This is
with it, Ernie.
We're at the San Antonio Auto Show. We are inside the convention center.
Yes.
So I've never
Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center downtown.
I've never done an episode in a car in the convention center.
First time for everything.
So we're going to make history and hopefully not get anybody in trouble. This is an amazing vehicle, by the way.
It's gorgeous. Yes.
And the back door is open, and the doors have literally just opened 3 minutes ago.
Right.
So
People will be coming in and out, perusing the vehicle.
It's conceivable that somebody might poke their head in. And I've already been saying Cassandra does not come with the vehicle if somebody wants to purchase this.
I mean, there's a price for everything.
I suppose. But thank you for doing this, by the way. It's so good to see you again.
You know what? It's so great to see you. I've always wanted to be on this with you.
Thank you.
And I guess I just had to be a spokesperson to do it.
No. Listen.
I am honored.
Well, you're a moving target because you're not in San Antonio all the time.
I'm not. That's true.
Like, technically, I know we'll get into like all of the other stuff in a little bit, but where do you have a home somewhere right now?
I do have a home. I do not just fly for a living everywhere. I live in Phoenix, Arizona now.
Right, because your significant other is obviously a well-known coach in the NBA who's currently coaching with the Suns.
Phoenix.
So I lived in Phoenix for a couple of years and covered the Suns. You were probably a teenager when I was doing that in the early 2000s, but it's a beautiful, as you know, it's a beautiful part of the country, and
I love it.
Phoenix is a great sports market.
And the culture of the Phoenix, like I feel like because I love San Antonio so much, it's as close as maybe you can get to being here without being here.
Super cool. So by the way, I came here with the purpose of doing two things. One, I've never been to the San Antonio Auto Show ever. So I always wanted to check it out.
It's your first time?
It is.
Okay.
And two, the purpose of interviewing Cassandra for Pickup Lines, what I did not anticipate was snagging this. What is this?
So Ernie participated today in the San Antonio Auto and Truck Show Media Challenge, which is very difficult, guys. I mean, media folks prepare for months for this challenge. Ernie walked in, he didn't even stretch, maybe some light stretching. And he just took every category. He won. He is the champion, the grand champion, which means you have to come back next year to defend your title.
All right, so 2025, I'll lock it in right before Thanksgiving. I will be here, but thank you.
And we will mention that the winner got to give $250 to the charity of his choice.
Which was very sweet. So I chose the Leukemia Lymphoma Society in honor of my late mother. So thank you for doing that. That's very cool and generous, and I will cherish this. Haven't won a lot of things in my life, but I'll find a place for this. So thank you.
You can also drink some milk out of that.
I will, like the Indy 500. I'll drink. Of course, it'll be milk, by the way.
Milk, of course.
We're having a good time here and reminiscing because every once in a while we run into each other, but it's usually for 30 seconds or, hello from afar, that kind of thing.
Right.
But once upon a time, we shared, obviously, an employer.
We did.
And a workplace. And I wonder how often you go back to think about your days in lifestyle TV, because you're at an exclusive club. You're one of the few people in San Antonio that can say they worked on air at multiple TV stations.
True.
Some have worked behind the scenes, but on air at multiple TV stations.
And behind the scenes. Did you know that I was an EP at Great Day of Sight?
An executive producer. Yeah, well, I remember thinking you, and was it Luis and
Luis?
that crew back? Was that Lou Parker?
So I was after Lou Parker, Christina Guerrero.
Great, Christina
Do you remember
Guerrero?
Christina?
Of course, sure.
Who, by the way, resides in Phoenix, Arizona now.
Really?
So we're going to be besties.
I love it.
And then Bridget Smith. Do you remember Bridget?
Of course,
Smith?
I Bridget. Yes. And Megan Alexander was there,
who is
and
now
she's
in Inside
Edition, still doing. Have a lot of great friends who were at Ken's and are still there to this day. But
Yeah.
do you ever reflect back on the lifestyle days and?
Well, you know this, always. Mainly because when you do this, it's kind of like it's just, you love it so much. You're
Right.
passionate about telling stories, bringing stories to people.
Yes.
Meeting people. You're passionate about like the city.
Yeah.
And, you know, growing up here, I just loved it so much.
Yes.
And my favorite part was like meeting the people.
Right.
And I always say, my dad used to tell me when I was young, I would get in trouble a lot for talking. I don't know how you
No
were.
way.
But
No.
he would tell me, you're never going to get
He
paid
would
to
have-
talk for a living.
Oh my gosh.
And I would say, Dad, when I finally got my job, I was like, I'm getting paid to talk for a living. And he just was like blown away. He laughed so hard. But
I've told a similar
Yeah.
story where I used to get the report cards in elementary school, and all the teachers would
They
say,
loved you.
Ernie's a good student, but he talks too much.
Exactly.
And what did I tell them? I said, one day I'm going to find a job where I get paid to talk.
And you did.
And here we are.
And to your point, like, you just love that, like, it takes a part of you, and I think you always have that part in you.
Yeah.
You just love that, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you feel the same. I mean, I can't speak for you, but then...
I think you're pretty spot on.
Yeah, and you meet all these wonderful human beings. I mean,
Yes.
you don't even realize, I think, how many stories are out there.
Indeed. No, and
Yeah.
we're going to continue to find them and everything. If you're just joining us and wondering did Ernie not pay his light bill or what's going on here, we're broadcasting from inside the Lexus GX550 Overtrail. I got to make sure
wow,
I get
you
this
have a
right.
brochure.
Well, they gave it to me. The GX550 Overtrail inside the San Antonio Convention Center at the San Antonio Auto Show.
Yep.
Some people may not realize, or maybe they see you on the commercials, you've been doing the auto show for a number of years now.
For a number of years, and I just love it. I love cars, first of all. I do love it. And getting to be here and seeing, like, the cars for the first time, I love the technology.
Oh, it's like sensory overload.
It is sensory overload, and this year we have so many cool things that I
Yes.
feel like it's just amazing. And then I get to visit San Antonio. I get to visit my friends, my
Yeah.
family, and my,
Yeah.
my mama.
You still
and
have family here.
I got a mama, and I got a couple sisters,
Okay.
and a niece and a nephew, and a brother-in-law. They all still live here.
So Thanksgiving, will you be in Phoenix? Will you be here or back and forth?
So it's interesting. I already had our Thanksgiving here with my family,
Okay.
and then I'm going to go back to Phoenix and have my, I guess technically the real Thanksgiving on
Right.
Thanksgiving Day
Okay.
with our Phoenix Suns family.
Yes.
Because we get two
That's the
families.
NBA life,
That's
because
the
now all the
NBA.
NBA schedules a lot of games on Thanksgiving or Christmas Day, and
Right.
so
if we're playing or there's
Yes.
a game or we're out of town, then we go to that city and then we all kind of just come together because we're all kind of vagabonds.
yes, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm just laughing because the people are
People
coming
are
by.
coming and this guy is just dusting.
He's
right
polishing
now,
the car.
and
People
he's
are
making
looking
sure
at the car because
lint
this
free.
is a working live auto show.
And people are wondering what we're doing in here.
Right.
And they're kind of upset. They're like, can you get out of the car? We want to check out the Lexus.
Right. We'd like to see the massive screen and all of the amenities and everything.
And I think we're just hogging it. I
well,
think.
they got all
They can
weekend long.
wait.
They got all
They
weekend
can
long.
wait. We got time. It's going on all weekend.
So you're a San Antonio girl, as I mentioned. You went to it's on the campus of Holmes High School, but it's business careers?
So I always tell people I went to Holmes High School because I went to Business Careers High School. It's a magnet school.
Right.
And I think people that don't know or didn't grow up or, that was in the 90s. So it was like, wait, where? And then I say, okay, well, I grew up in John Jay. Shout out John Jay area.
Yes.
I grew up in John Jay area, but I went to the magnet school in Holmes. So I feel like people always know Holmes.
Yeah.
Across from Ingram Park
Sure,
Mall,
yeah.
the round.
The round-
Holmes Husky.
absolutely.
Shout out Custom 98. You can do the math. Love
She's
that
younger than me for
school.
sure. Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm from
Yeah.
San Antonio.
What are your earliest memories of just growing up on that side of town? What are some things that you like to do, or did you always? At what point did you know? Were you drawn to the camera and the microphone, and
Yes.
and you were a character and you could be comfortable in front of people?
Do you remember Alex Garcia?
the meteorologist,
weatherman,
who is still on the air at
meteorologist.
Fox to this day.
He is.
Yes.
So he came to my kindergarten class. I believe it was kindergarten.
Yeah.
5 years old, right?
Yes.
And he, you know how you talk, and you say, you can do this, you can do anything. And I said, I can do that. I talk a lot. My dad said I can't get paid to talk. I can do that.
Yes, you can.
So I said, I want to be a weather girl. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then I grew up a little more, and I talked still, and I was like, this would be fun. I want to be on TV. And then I decided I wanted to be in news, because I am a news junkie.
Yeah.
I'm sure you are too.
I'm less now, but
Less
for
now.
sure when I was in it, I could not get enough. Even on the weekends on a vacation, like I couldn't, because I felt like it was homework. Like I had to pay attention to everything.
It's exactly right. So my dad, when I was younger, he would every morning my age again.
That's all right.
The newspaper on Sunday would come.
Yes.
San Antonio Lights. Do you remember the
Sure,
San Antonio
I do. Yeah,
prior
totally.
to San Antonio Express News.
Yes. Yes.
And you would get the essay light, or it was the live.
The
life
section.
That's what it was called. And then you open it up, and then my dad and I would read the business. We would read essay life, and we would read all of the sections together, and that was like our thing. And I always knew what was going on in national news, because it was like I knew way too much at that age about what was going on overseas and wars, and so I just couldn't get enough of it, and my dad and I would just discuss it. That was our thing on Sunday. We would discuss.
I love it.
How the world was going, the State of the Union address every Sunday, and so I just became this news junkie, and I just followed it all the time. And so then when I got older, I said I want to be in news. I want to be in news. So I interned at WOAI.
Yeah.
Brian Collister, do you remember him?
Of course I do.
Okay, the Troubleshooters.
Yes.
Still on.
Yes.
Right? They still do it.
They were
Someone else does it
downtown.
now.
They were downtown back when it was Camelwell and WOAI.
So Brian Collister, I remember being this little intern, and I went in for my internship, which back then didn't pay a dime.
No.
And he just took me under his wing and showed me the ropes. I mean, we used to jump out of the back of vans and shove fuzzy mics into
in your face.
Councilmen's faces that were cheating on their wives. And we did all the things that were, we would just, you had to wait for hours and, to get the sound
like
by.
a stakeout or something, essentially.
I remember it, and his photographer, and we just had so much fun. I just loved that. I remember we had this little closet of a, you know how news is? You just get a closet.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, you get a closet, which is the office. And so we were in there, and we would just have so much fun.
Yeah.
And I think moving forward, I realized news was not for me. It was very serious. And
heavy
the
stuff.
newsmen that I knew were like very angry a lot. And I thought to myself, I don't know if I could do this every day. Like talk about murders and all these things. I said, I don't know. I don't think I have a personality for that.
So you were a natural.
Shocking, I know.
No, listen. I get it. I get it more now, having been removed from it.
Right.
But so you realize you were more tailored maybe toward lifestyle, which is by its very nature more lighthearted and fun, and you can take chances and.
Lifestyle. And for those that don't know, I am a twin. I have a twin sister. And so my twin sister was a massage therapist, and she went on Great Day SA.
Yes.
And she was, at the time, they needed a model. And Luis Munoz, who was the executive producer, was like, we need a model, we need a model. And so my sister calls me, I'll never forget, and she was like, they need a model. And at the time, I just wanted to be in TV. I didn't care. I'll do anything. Like, they want to dye my hair black, they want to cut it off, I'm in.
Right.
That was a friend.
Wait, somebody just don't mind us. They're just checking out the car.
We are not
the auto show.
We are not currently driving the vehicle. Don't worry, we're safe.
It's at the auto show.
But yeah, so Luis brought me on. I was just a model, and then I said to him, so I'm sitting there. I know you have this moment too, where I'm like, I'm watching this show.
Yes.
Okay, I'm thinking I want to be a host, but then I'm watching like Luis, and he's like telling people what to do, and he's he's on the headsets, he's in the control booth, and he's doing all these things, and I'm like, okay, can I watch you? And can I come in and watch you? And he's like, yeah. And then I'm watching him, and I'm like, that's what I want to do.
In the control room, it's like Grand Central Station, and all the monitors are up there, and you're calling shots. Take 6, take 4, roll this, that,
And you know how overstimulated it is. It's like everyone's yelling at everyone.
Yes,
well, see, back then you could cuss and you could do all these great stuff back then. I know, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, but like back then it was so fun. I mean, like I just said, this looks exciting. I want to do whatever they're doing back there. And so my mind was like,
yeah.
And from that moment on, I said, can I come watch? Can I come watch? And then the minute they had an opening, I wanted to interview as an AP.
Associate producer, yeah.
And Randy Oates, who I always tell him he started my career, and he laughs like, what are you talking about? And I just remember going in that interview and just, he goes, do you have any questions for me? And I said, yes, when do I start?
And the rest is history.
The rest is history. I became an AP and then associate producer, executive producer, and then hosted eventually.
But you made a career and you continue to do so. Are you still modeling?
I still do. I mean, I just do like so much. When you're a creative person, I feel like you just do so much. Like, you know this, like you have to have your creative juices flowing.
Right.
Or you just feel like you're dying a slow death.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
For me, the production part of it, like, not to take it away from like in front of the camera, but the people that are behind the scenes, it's just a lot of work. And you know now that you're producing everything probably.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably used to have a tech guy to set up lighting.
I'm a one-man man
You're
again.
a one-man man. It's like an MMJ.
Like I was 30 years ago.
But, I mean, it's so much work, and I think you're just so used to that.
Right.
How fast the pace is, so fast.
Yeah.
And I think quote-unquote normal people are just like, they go at a rate that is so slow. And when you get out of TV, you're like, oh my God, this is like... You know what I mean?
I totally get it.
You're coming from a life where 30 seconds was an eternity.
Oh, for sure. And here we can go on forever. And
forever.
Other than the people checking out the car, I mean, we have nothing to worry about and everything. So since we are here at the San Antonio Auto Show, and you are the long time, if you will, spokesperson, you do the commercials and everything. What would you like people, I mean, I'm a first time attendee. What would you like people to know about the auto show and how well San Antonio does this event?
Yes, because as we know, there's auto shows all over the nation, but I really believe this is the best one. They call it the largest showroom in South Texas for a reason, because it's like cars, trucks, SUVs.
There's lowriders over here.
Lowriders.
Vintage cars.
Vintage. Luxury vehicles. There's a McLaren. There's like gorgeous, like, oh my gosh. There's a Corvette C8 back there, a Corvette a Stingray, Ferraris. The lowriders have always been a great attraction, but we used to just have a few. And I think over the years, Clint Westwood, he's over there, and he brought like so many of them.
Yeah.
And if you're from San Antonio, like if you grew up in this, you know, I grew up on the west side. And so to me, it's like, oh, wow, this is like, I remember hitting the switches on military. I did. I did.
In your, what were you wearing at the time? Your jeans and
probably
your...
a crop top. Probably a crop top.
I was talking to my twins the other day
hoops.
about 90 shrimps.
Yeah, some bit, like, I still can't get the hoops. You know, these are like...
Oh my gosh.
These are like, because you get rid of the senorita hoops, and then you're
Holmes Huskies, class of 97, 98.
Like, I'm a senora now.
Get out
Because
of
these
here.
are like the small hoops for like the older women.
I don't think of you
I'm
as
just telling you,
any
like, you wear
way,
the
shape,
big,
or form old.
You wear the real big ones, and then you cross that threshold where you're like, you hang up the senorita ones, and you put the senorita.
You still keep in touch with any of the Holmes Husky peeps?
Shout out to all my Holmes Husky peeps, class of 98, baby. You guys are all still here. You support me. That's my raza right there. Those are my people. My mom still lives in Heritage by the duck pond.
Oh my gosh.
Marbach Road. Shout out to Marbach Road. Everyone hates on Marbach Road, but that is the best Whataburger.
Well, I will tell you, Marbach Road, when I was growing up, meant Pancho's. Mexican buffet.
The flag?
Yes!
The flag!
Yes!
Panchitos.
Yes!
Right?
Well, Pancho's...
Oh, no, was it Panchos or Panchitos?
No, well, Pancho's Mexican buffet was where you raise the flag and you get the sopapillas. And it was always right there at Marbach.
The sopapillas, right there on the corner.
Yes.
So, oh my gosh, you just unlocked a core memory. You raise the little flag.
Right, and they magically bring you more
sopapillas,
or would you like more enchiladas?
There was nothing like those sopapillas because they were like right off the
best.
I'm sure everything
right out of the fryer. Oh, right out of the fryer in the basket, and then you get the honey. You cut a little hole in it, and you can put butter or honey in there, and you
man, that is just. If you ever got a chance to eat there, you're lucky. And I
was very lucky.
That's where we went there probably every.
There's one in Houston that I found by accident like 2 or 3 years ago, and I forced my family to go. We literally pulled off the side of the highway and went and ate there. It's not the same.
Is it the same?
No, I mean it's not the same. It's not the same.
I'm about to drive straight from here.
It's close. It's not the same. But those are my memories of that part of town, Marbach for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up there on that road, and then all my friends in my neighborhood lived in John Jay, and then all my friends from school were Holmes, and Holmes was like considered all high end, like all luxury
back in the day.
School, and now they're like, oh, you went to Holmes. I'm like, I'm proud of it. I loved that school. I had so many friends, and they all still live. Like, you know how it is here. People stay here, and I love that. Yeah, it's just.
There's something about this place.
There's something about it.
It never gets old and everything. What else have you been up to besides your travels and NBA? How many NBA games would you say you go to in a typical year?
Okay, so there's 82 games a year.
82. Because you'll go to road games too.
I'll go to road games. So I would say I probably road games are half of them. I don't go to all or most of them because obviously you can't sustain that. But I would say, 41, I would say I go to like maybe 60.
That's okay. And you get to travel on the charter? The team charter and everything?
So it depends what team you're on and who the head coach is.
Yeah, correct.
But yes, I do get to travel on the charter often, and many times I have, and I've been very lucky.
Okay.
And I'm very grateful to be a part of that because it's like a family. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not a part of it, it's hard to explain, but everybody's kind of just from other places. So when you get there, you don't have built-in friends. You don't have everything. It's all the people on the team and their wives and their kids, and it's like we're one big family. I was in Milwaukee for 4 years. Yeah. We won a championship there, and that was just like all of us. We're still just like.
No, I remember when I was a sportscaster because again, a lot of times I had Thanksgiving dinner at the Cowboys game, or the Spurs were playing on Christmas Day or whatever, and the wives and the kids would literally get together, or Santa would show up and do something special just for the kids of the players.
That's exactly
those kinds of things that a lot of people don't realize.
And this is what they don't realize also is when you're a good team. Yeah. Like when we were in Milwaukee, you don't get Christmas. You don't get.
No, you're always on TV.
You're always playing that header game or whatever it is. So like Milwaukee, several years. Once we were in, I think Boston. Once we were in Philadelphia. They charter a plane for just the families, and then we all go together, and we literally have our own Christmas party there. This isn't every team now.
No, it's different.
It depends who the head coach is. Mike Budenholzer, I love him to death.
He's the current coach of the Suns.
And he was with us, we were with him in Milwaukee as well, and he is just like family to us. So I'm going to his house for Thanksgiving. That's what I'm doing.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And
Coach Bud, of course, is from the Greg Popovich coaching tree.
Yep.
Once upon a time was here in San Antonio. So.
And Kevin Durant is now on ours. I actually got to. I told him I met him and I loved him and I just fell in love with him. I can't believe like all the things you have in your head about who these guys are when you play against them is probably pretty wrong. And I can say that through.
No, I get it.
My own experience. Like when I meet him, I'm like, okay, you guys are really cool. But. Yeah, I met him and I just absolutely adored him. And I told him, I used to hate you.
Yeah.
And he was like, really? I said, man, you made me cry one too many times when you were with
He
OKC.
did. He's made a lot of people cry over the years.
But I'm glad I just did tell him, we're glad to be on this side of it with you now. And he knew too because we were in Milwaukee when we beat him. So he said, well, I'm glad to be on your side too. So now
he's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
And I think all my friends here, I will say, in San Antonio, like obviously Spurs fans.
Right.
Chad worked for the Spurs for 9 years.
Sure.
So we're Spurs fans, but they always cheer for us wherever we are.
Yeah.
So when you see a random Phoenix Suns license plate, that's my mom.
That's fair. That's
or
fair.
A sweatshirt,
So this is my personal opinion. I'm going to offer this up. I see Chad being a head coach at some point in the NBA. I'm not speaking for him. I'm assuming that's something he would want to do, but the minute it happens, I will be 0% surprised.
Thank you for saying that, Chad.
I'm not.
I believe
Cassandra did not put me up to that.
I believe it too. He's so good and he's so talented and he's also just the kind of guy that just does he's like a lot like you. You guys have similar like you just do the best job you can and you just want other people around you to succeed. And I do believe that when you live like that, in that way, that people around you, you're always like cheering for them.
Right.
I think you end up in a great place.
It might not happen when you want it to,
That's true.
but more times than not.
And everything out, we've been fired We've been fired, and that's just how it goes, and it's a part of it. Because you get the high highs and you get the low lows, and it's never really anything to do with you. It's just the way that it works. And
it's just the way it works.
We end up always in a better place.
Amen to that.
That's where we are in Phoenix now, so it's amazing.
A few more minutes with Cassandra Lazenby here. Are you still on the clock, by the way? Because
No,
she was
I'm
working
off.
today. I watched her.
And
She was working the microphone and
This is really wonderful
and-
with you. I've been walking around in these high heels all day, and I just get to chill in here with you. And people are just giving us the strangest looks. What I love this, but I don't know what they're thinking we're doing.
No, I don't either. But I can literally look out just to paint a picture. I think there's Audis over there.
Yep.
And
we got everything.
To our left, those was Lincolns or whatever. I see Navigators over there. We're in the middle of about, like, I think she said 13 or 14 Lexuses or Lexi, whatever the plural for Lexus is. I don't know what it is. But this is, I just like that.
That's good.
We're in among the Lexi. They even gave us the fancy pamphlet here because we are sitting right now in the 2024 GX550 Overtrail.
This baby is nice. Like, what I love interiors, like leather, soft leather.
Yeah, no, it's got it.
I mean, people live in their cars, so this is really nice. This is really a nice one. Lexus always does a good job.
I may not go back to the RZ. I might just take this one and just keep doing the shows in this one.
You can drive right. Look at the doors are right in front
doors
of you.
right literally in front of us.
They don't know
Commerce
what they're doing.
or Market Street is right over here.
You can literally soup this baby up and just go right through the doors right now.
So you seem really happy. You seem like you're in a really good place.
Yes.
I know you're all over the place and you're doing different things. And it's great that they bring you back every year for the auto show, but you seem like you're in a really good place.
I am. Like, life is good. I mean, life's not always easy, but it's good, right? So I feel like so very blessed to have all these great friends, and I get to travel the world.
Yeah.
I mean, literally get to travel the world. I've gone to Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Paris, Istanbul, Hawaii, all with the NBA, and a ball takes us all around the world. So I always it's not my hand, but it's like solid. It's very stiff back there. It fits a lot of people.
You fit a family of 12 back here, I think, and all the groceries and everything.
Sure.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, I mean, like, life after TV is different, and it's I miss that, but like the grind of it, I think I'm okay with leaving behind. And the fact that I get to do these things and people still actually hire me is amazing to me. Like, I cannot believe that people hire me to do this thing. They actually pay me.
That's right.
To talk, and every year I'm like, are you sure you want me back? And then they do. And so then,
I often have the same thought when somebody gives me a little money to do an event or something like that. They're literally paying us to talk.
But I mean, how are you, like, I'm not trying to take the
That's
rope
okay.
here.
You can.
Can I ask, like,
yes.
So I've always admired you. I worked at CBS, I worked at Ken's, and
I've
always would watch you. And just, you have this natural ability to just make people calm, and you're just a natural on camera. You're not anything different off camera, which I love that. When people, to me, like, I'm always a little bit amazed when people get into TV. I always say, like, you actually have to just have this, like, natural personality, because then it's really hard. I would think it would be really hard to just get on TV and, like, fake that. Yeah,
well, I told somebody the other day two things. I said, one, the viewers are pretty smart, right? They can see, generally speaking, they can see through fake or manufactured stuff. And then I told somebody this the other day. I said, it is physically easier to be mean to somebody, right?
Yeah.
Like, naturally, it comes naturally to be me to be nice. And don't get me wrong, we're all tested and you have bad days and life happens and everything. But I have just found that you're nice to people. And when I was growing up as a young person in TV, there were so many people that were nice to me and great and generous with their time.
That's
like
awesome.
What Alex Garcia did with you, right?
Yes.
And then you had the other side, the people who thought they were a little too full of themselves and weren't always so nice, and that stuck with me. And I'm like, I don't want that again, or I don't want to put that on somebody. No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to put that on somebody.
Couldn't agree more.
So that, it works for me. That's what I say.
And but I've never heard anyone say an unkind word about you. But I'll say is, like, San Antonio, they embrace the people on TV here, and and it's also about just the people here. The people in the city are just amazing, but, like, they they wrap their arms around you and they just really love you. After they
Yeah.
hate you first they're gonna tell you absolutely suck. But
Right.
then once you start getting by whatever, they just love you. And like I've never, it's just something about this
Right.
city that I come back to. And for you, I feel like you're a staple. I feel like you're gonna continue to do great things. I see it as like, oh my gosh, what a blessing that you have this, but also I can't wait to see like a year from now where you're doing, because to me you have all the things like
Yes.
that make people want to talk to you.
You're very
and
sweet.
So yeah.
Well, I do know for sure a year from now I'm going to be back here with this. I'm going to be back here. I'm going to be defending this.
You have to defend it, and you need to really stretch a little more, because I felt like you were a little bit tight.
I was. Well, I didn't know there was physical running.
Nobody really warned you.
No, but now I know. For next year, I can strategize
You did a
better and
great
everything,
job.
and come back and defend my title. I won the media challenge just a
Yes.
little while ago here in front of the convention center. If anybody was driving by and was thinking, why the heck is Ernie blindfolded and running around the front of the convention center? That's what it was. Nothing to see here.
I love this Lexus though.
It's beautiful. One more time, the Lexus GX550 Overtrail. I believe the sticker on the outside says somewhere in the neighborhood of $65,000. So
Yes.
if that's within your price range, and I've seen this, they can add so many more features and bells and whistles to this thing.
They absolutely can.
But
Listen, they'll get it as high as
They'll
you
get-
want it. You want to add a
there's no
rocket ship to
ceiling.
the top?
They can put a space shuttle on there, I believe.
They will upgrade you.
Yes, so great to see you.
You too.
Really enjoyed the conversation. Happy for you and
Thank
your
you.
success and your travels, and all the best to Chad as well.
Thank you. If you want to do one live from Phoenix, we should do that. You're always welcome.
When
to
the
come.
Suns come to, because I know Julie Phi is a friend. Not Julie Phi. Stacey Mitch does.
Stacey Mitch.
Stacey does the PR now for the.
Everyone's over there. All the San Antonio people.
Because Julie Phi was a friend of mine. She did PR for many years there. Stacey does the PR for when the Suns come to town. If the stars align and everything, I'll come to the hotel.
I
We'll
would
pull
love
Chad
that.
in. You get in the, or Chad
You
gets in
gotta
the
meet
back seat.
Chad. Chad is like 10 times. Like I always tell him he should be on camera.
Right.
He's so funny.
Kevin Durant, we'll
You'd be
get
shocked.
Devin Booker, we'll get all the Suns or whoever. Coach Bud wants to come in the back of the car. We'll
And Chad
figure it
will
out.
dance. Like he is
Well, now,
not
there you
afraid
have
to
it.
throw it down.
There you have it.
Yes.
Thanks again.
You too.
There she is, the great Cassandra Lazenby. It took me longer than I would have liked to get a hold of her, but she's a very
know.
popular woman, and she's
you.
going to go back to work here at the San Antonio Auto Show. We're just about to finish. I
Yeah,
promise.
I promise.
It's more people want to see the GX, and we're inhibiting their ability to see this beautiful car. Until next time, San Antonio, have a fantastic day. One more time from the Lexus GX550 Overtrail, signing off. Well, I should mention the website real quick,
Oh, yeah.
saautoshow.com.
Yes.
saautoshow.com. Come see Cassandra this weekend.
Yes, please. I'll be
and
here.
all these beautiful cars. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
All right. We'll see you next time. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way,
Yes.
as well.
Gobble, gobble.